This is the MTPredictor weekly market update for February 22nd. I wanted to start with the weekly chart here of the S&P and just take note of a few things here. Obviously the S&P has made new all-time highs, and you can see I just drew a basic trend line here, and you can see the massive trend that is in place here. I mean, this is a major uptrend and a majorly strong uptrend here. But a couple things to note. Yes, we made all-time highs. You can see this is our strong trend filter here, and you can see this oscillator is making lower and lower highs as time goes on in this trend up here. And also the volume, if you want to go back a few years here, overall is declining. So just something to take note of as we move forward. Doesn't mean this can go on for a long period of time. And the fact that we've got quantitative easing coming in Europe and possibly in Japan, right? These are all obviously money's going to need to go. All that excess cash is going to need to find a place to go, and it's been in equity. So maybe European stocks outperform the U.S. market this year for 2015. We'll see. All right, let's check for corroboration in the Dow here, and you see the Dow. Here we had a high on Friday here. That was 18,121, and the prior high here 18,051. So a new high in the Dow corroborates the S&P finally, and you can see there's just a standard trade set up here, the TS4. That's just an ABC correction that the software found with this trade set up here. Here's the target, which is basically the decision point off of this decision point here, and this is where I anticipate this right on this, well, 18,200, nice round number for the Dow to find some resistance, get to that target there. Alright, let's check the NQ. You can see the NQ, also the TS3 buy signal that told us that there was a good probability that the NQ was going higher here. You see the target there, also new high. The target there at 44.68 a quarter. Right, some strength on the STF coming in here, indicating there may be more upside ahead. So those are our targets for those markets there. All right, one other thing I do want to check for confirmation here is if I can find the Dow Transports here. The Dow Transports, this was also generated a long signal here on the daily chart. We can do the analysis here and see the entry, stop, and target. Now this is just an index, but the pattern is there, and this gives us some Fibonacci levels here, overlapping levels of resistance, or what we call wave price targets coming in here. But the Dow Transports have not made a new high yet, and that's the thing I just wanted to point out. That has not confirmed the new highs in stock, so something to keep an eye on there. And then another big development to keep your eyes on, we've been looking at the bonds. Here's the daily chart of the bonds. We noted back here that we had the 5-wave pattern, which we anticipated we should get a correction back to the wave 4 DP. Alright, that's that's normal and fine, but then we talked about, I talked about this level would need to hold as support for this trend to continue. Alright, you see we did hit also the major weekly resistance in bonds. So in other words, bond prices were moving higher until we hit wave 5. Interest rates were moving lower at that time. Now we've got a shift, because it said watch this level. If this level gives way, the danger is they're going to wipe out this whole 5-wave pattern up here. And you can see where the bonds have taken out this level here. Here's your next target. That's a find wave 1 here and go to the bottom of wave 1. We take a decision point off of that start of wave 1 here, and that gives us this level. Right, have strength on the STF. So this is a potential shift in, we've been talking about deflation, but this is the bond market, the so-called smartest market. You've got the institutional, most of the institutions that are trading this rather than retail. And this is indicating a potential shift in, we should start talking about inflation. rather than deflation now, based on this potentially. They've broken this level. Here's the target down here. Maybe are going to erase this 5-wave pattern up. This means the break here, we're going to see rising, or we're seeing rising interest rates at this point. We'll see if this continues and gets followed through. And then let's check the XLU, that ETF, utility ETF. Where's my? I'll use this here. All right, they've been selling the XLU. Right, we had a sell signal here. You can put the analysis. It's reached that target. It's found some support. There is some strength on the STF here to the downside. Did we have a 5-wave pattern up here as well? Yeah, so we had a little 5-wave pattern up. Came right into the typical wave 5 target there. You can see that labeled there. And again, the tendency, just like we saw in bonds, correction back to the wave 4 DP. This level now needs to hold, but the reason, okay, they've been selling the XLU, right? Usually they're going to buy this when they're anticipating deflation, right? And this is why this has been moving up. Right? There's a nice buy signal back here. All right, and they were buying bonds and buying the XLU. Well, now they're selling bonds and they're selling the XLU. All right, that's, you know, they tend to, if it's going to be inflationary, they maybe start getting out of the XLU, maybe buying financials. All right, so we're going to watch these. So keep an eye on the financials. They haven't made a new high yet either. Watch the Dow Transports and the financials here if they pick up. We just came into some support here, maybe setting the trend back to the upside, and we'll see. Here's the last significant high there, so just above or just below 2550. The large degree or next level of resistance there in the XLF. All right, and then the last piece we'll take a look at is we'll look at gold and silver. Back to the bond chart here and use this. Because if we're going to have if rates are going to rise, we've got quantitative easing in Europe getting set for March, maybe in Japan, then this we'll have to watch here, gold and silver, if they're going to be printing more money. Again, here was our major support, our weekly support here from the daily chart. Here we had a 5-wave pattern down into that weekly support. That was a potential trend changer back to the upside. Again, we anticipate at least a correction back to the wave 4 DP. There's our wave 4, and there's the DP resistance from wave 4. That's what we got. So now I closed my had option positions in GLD that I closed up here, and you can see we've pulled back here, come back to that large, you know, that 1200, that significant 1200 level. I want to watch this level. If this holds as support, then we may get another rally off of that level. If it breaks down, then we're going to retest maybe the lows here. So this will be something to watch. Also in the silver, in fact, I'll go to the SLV here. The SLV here, again, a 5-wave pattern down here, corrected back to the wave 4 DP. I did close my SLV position in here, although I then had a long put that I closed out on the gap down here in this area, and I'm still short a call spread, 1821 short call spread that expires Friday. So again, we'll see, especially gold at 1200 level, if it's going to hold. If not, then we may, retest those lows here in gold and silver. And then one last, I haven't looked at we haven't looked at oil here in a bit. Let's just go and you can see this is the daily chart. We've kind of went through the monthly support there in oil, but we did get a little buy signal down here with a 5-wave pattern, a 5-wave sequence, and you can see this caught the low there into the target, and you can see we're kind of consolidating around here now. We'll see which way this thing, you kind of get a little not real pretty, but we'll see as this kind of consolidates back and forth in here, if it breaks one way or the other here. Something to watch there. Do have some strength still on the to the upside on the STF indicator here, so we'll see if that break happens to the upside in oil on the daily chart here. Alright, so we'll leave it there. We do have a full week of economic data here. Monday you've got existing home sales. Tuesday we'll start, Janet Yellen will be speaking on Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, so anytime the Fed speaks, take note if you're trading during the day. New home sales Wednesday, CPI on Thursday, and GDP on Friday. So big week of economic data this week, so stay on your toes there. Right, we'll be back next week, do it all again.